In the name of Allah, the merciful, the beneficent, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. Muhammad is his messenger. I greet the family of the nation in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, sir.
Thank you. So my name is Brother Jose, as mentioned. I joined the nation about a year ago, and I got my ex finally at the Holy Day of Atonement this past year. So, my heart burns to do the work of the messenger, because that's all I can do. I feel like Allah saved, you know, when they say amazing grace, he saved a wrench like me. Well, I was definitely a wrench, and I was saved. So by the grace of Almighty God, Allah, I feel as if I owe, and I do, we all owe Allah eternally for the blessings we have. Nobody got a bill today to see, and nobody got a bill to breathe. So we all are indebted to Almighty God. So I'm going to speak on the Perris project, which is a project, Follow Me on the Land, that's been being sponsored by Brother Morris. Emeritus Brother Morris has land in Perris, California, that he is so graciously allowing us to cultivate and produce for ourselves, and give the young FOI and the whole nation an opportunity to really do for ourselves and see what it's like in today's time. That area encompasses about 2.5 acres that are usable for produce production. That makes you say 2.5 acres. Well, we heard Elijah Muhammad had 50 and over 100, and he said, "Well, brother, we can't feed nobody with 2.5 acres of land." But that's actually to the contrary, because we can feed 40 families solidly 3 meals a day for a year with the given area. Wow. The area is very fertile, which is a blessing by Almighty God, Allah. And we had a lot of rain this winter. So this season is projected to be a very good season, a very good output. Wow. The reason why we're taught that let me back up. So we're taught to use and approach things with technology, with the exact science, to be right and exact. Correct. The theory of biointensity. This is what we're going to use at the Perris Project. It's a technology that the white man has stolen from the Asiatic man.
Stolen?
Yeah, stole it from the Asiatic man who invented it 4,000 years ago. It's an Asiatic method that uses very little land to produce a lot of food. That's an oxymoron. It's like, little and big. So here we go. What this is we're going to use a method that allows us to, in a 1 acre plot of land, and the brother's going to expand on this knowledge, in a 1 acre plot of land, produce over 20,000 pounds of produce. Wow. Now, yes, these are low estimates, very low estimates. This is on 1 acre. Like I said, we have 2.5 acres. We'll get into that later. But biointensive farming is utilizing 8 very key components to farming. Those being crop rotation, open pollination, compost, double digging, companion planting, spacing, crop diversity, transplanting. And those methods right there will allow us to use a little bit of land and make the most produce. Let me expand on some of those. So, double digging is where we'll start. This is our first need for the farm. Is conventionally, let me show you. Conventionally, there's conventional, like you said, the old way, and then biointensive is the old new way. You know, everything goes back to retro. We're still wearing clothes from the 70s and stuff like that, but now it's cool. So what we're doing with this method is crop rotation. In the old conventional style, we would use 1 crop. So as they mentioned, Monsanto uses 1 crop, which we all know is corn. They own the corn, they own the corn seeds, they own all the production and fruit that comes off the corn. They would plant corn in this one, let's imagine this is 100 square feet, 10 feet on this side and 10 feet on that side. They would plant all corn in that space, which would be 1 crop. So unless everybody wants to eat corn all year, that's all we would eat. But what we're going to utilize is a method called crop rotation and crop diversity. We are going to, you can see in this chart using biointensity, we are going to diversify the amount, the type, and of crops. So in this one, instead of just growing, we're just growing corn. This one we have corn, we have lettuce, we have navy beans, we have melons, we have peppers, we have tomatoes, and so forth. So utilizing new but old Asiatic methods, we'll utilize crop rotation. The next one is open pollination. So in open pollination, the white man makes us buy seeds, right? A lot of people have been to Home Depot, including myself. Sorry about that. We bought these kind of seeds, right? These seed packets. Seed packets is $1.59 for 500 milligrams. Now, in regular terms, that's not a lot of food. So, this is the $1.59. Utilizing open pollination, we will no longer have to buy seeds next year. This will be our last season buying seeds. We will now utilize this space and allow a fourth of the crops to go to what we call seed. And all seeds, like nature, reproduces itself. Everything always duplicates. So the seeds will produce naturally. We, using a method even older than biointensive, is we will collect the seeds. The seed collecting strategy, basically we allow the plants to go to seed. They generate seeds. We hang the plant upside down and we shake them, and it will drop all the seeds. So next year we won't buy any seeds. We'll just use our own seeds, and they'll all be heirloomed organic on their way to being heirloom. Wow. Yes. Compost. Compost is a new hip term that just means manure. Just means something that is completely dead gives the soil life, which is ironic. And compost, we'll derive compost from the cows in this area. We're in contact with a brother who right now has a horse manure farm and is going to allow us for free to take horse manure. The only problem with the compost at this point is the horse manure is what we call wet and live, and it will take over 6 months for it to completely dry out and be usable in our crops. So we'll have to supplement the horse manure at this time with green manure, which Brother John has already tilled the land, and the plants that were on the land have now been integrated into the soil. They will die out and form a sort of compost. Yes. All of you are going to help build compost by bringing your food scraps. When we organize it, we'll have a pickup for food scraps. So instead of wasting food and throwing it in the garbage and making your garbage bill high and making the landfill so big, we're actually going to reduce the landfills by using our what they call waste and using it as a beneficiary to our farm. Yeah, so that would be compost. Double digging, backtracking, is where we need to start. Double digging in the conventional model, we go down into the soil, maybe as much as the plant needs. So we assume we dig up with our trowels, we dig and we say, oh, let's get about 6 inches and the plant will grow. In our method, we understand that everything likes to hang out. If you look in the wild, plants they're not in perfect spaces. They're all wildly bushed together, and they seem to be doing fine. So utilizing that method, we won't interrupt nature. We know Allah is the best, so we'll allow Allah to do His work. We will dig deep of a space depth of 24 inches. This is what will require most of our labor up front, and we'll need the most input. We need to dig 24 inches for every 100 square feet. So what that equates to, in my calculations, which are very minimal, that's about 240 hours of needed labor that we need for the project to get it for pre-planning. We'll call it pre-planning. Digging will be utilized with a trencher, which is $100 from Home Depot, unless we're going to put a word out that a brother or sister has a trencher at their house. We will gladly pick it up and use it. Or we'll use just a regular method of a shovel. And this can actually be completed in 240 hours by one person. But with the input of the nation, this will be a lot sooner. So utilizing all these open pollination, crop rotation, compost, double digging, companion planting is this cabbage plant, let's just say it was that high, of a height of this height, could theoretically grow right next to it, if you can see that, a tomato plant. Why? Because this is higher in height and this is at now lower. So while this matures, we will be raising this for maturity, harvesting the cabbage, and this will be growing alongside of it. When this is completely dead, we'll take it out of the ground and put these transplants in there, and this will grow to maturity. So at the same time, we have two different growths growing on. Companion planting also means planting crops that benefit each other in flavor. Tomato and basil happen to benefit each other when we plant them next together. Yeah, that's right. Yes. So this is knowledge that we will be using that's been stolen from us and hidden from us in books and stuff like that. And then we will use transplanting, which I have here. Transplanting is, my wife calls me a seed addict, or planting addict, because I have over 500 of these in a 200 square studio apartment in LA. So so with these transplants, we will. I'll grab root. You see that? There's a tomato plant. Now we will go into the ground after planting and place this transplant. This transplant will only need about 4 more weeks to grow to maturity. Where if we planted this tomato seed from seed, it would need roughly 75 days or about 2 months. So we're going to cut the amount of time needed to grow in half, which is why our production is so much higher than a normal rate. Here you can see just the basic stages of how seed development works. We have these trays. For now, we take this. I decided to do this for a hobby all day at my house. We put the tape on. Okay.
Let me see.
Okay. We go into the seed packet. We say, okay, we're gonna grow some onions, right? So we put onion. It's a walla. It's a type of onion. The harvest amount is always on the back, and we don't have to use this because we have Brother John, and I have to give him another round of applause because.
Come on.
I'm standing on shoulders of giants, see, so and I'm a small man, so they got to be some big shoulders. So, and Brother John so gracefully is giving us so much guidance. But we will put 80 days for the harvest, and we would put today's date, which would be 2/20, and we would know just from this that in 80 days from 2/20 we will be eating onions, right? So with intensive planning and calendaring, we will know, we'll already predict how much produce, that's why we have these numbers, how much produce we'll have and how much money we'll generate and when they'll all be ready. So with these, we'll plant these, and these hang out maybe at my house or your houses. Hopefully we can establish a transplant library or bank. I don't know if it's a library or bank. I haven't figured out yet. But you would volunteer to keep maybe two or three of these at your windowsill, and as soon as they reach maturity, just bring them on into the mosque. We'll pick them up and put them out in the fields. So, yes. So these are some of the methods that we're going to be using to generate more production with less land. Going back to here. And we, right now, estimate 240 hours of labor. Now, if we can get 30 people to do 240 hours of labor, that would be about 8 hours a person. And we would need this done in about roughly a month and a half of time. So we're going to be, look for an email real soon that's asking you to sign up to volunteer out in the field. Or, if you don't know, if you can't do it yourself because of maybe physical restraints, there's probably a young person in your neighborhood who has no job, right? Or 50% of young black males are headed to prison anyways. So we need to get them and send them out to the farm, and we'll take care of them from there.
Right. That's right. That's good.
One other thing that inspired me to get in touch with Brother Kevin was I was looking up on the Ministry of Agriculture in the Inland Empire, and it had Be Healthy. It was a program that Brother Kevin tried to start a while ago. Bees they create honey, which is a very good cash crop for the farm. If you can look at this diagram, bees set up hives. Hives are normally found in trees, logs. Bees, yeah, in your house, in your attic. We're going to create a beehive for our bees to come safely, eat some good food, and lay us some good honey.
Yes.
If you can see this box represents one beehive. The bottom box is a box we call the deep. The D box will be where the bees